Hello and welcome to Zombie Perks Unscripted. This is Nova and I am with Zeon.
Yeah, hello. I wasn't expecting to have that intro, but I'll
Don't
deal with
worry.
it.
Don't worry, I will bleep it out and no one will understand what I said. It's fine.
Sure.
Alright, so would you like to start out what we're gonna do here, or should I?
No, I'll do it.
Alright, cool.
We've decided to come up with a kind of like a ranking each for all the perks in the zombies game modes from obviously the beginning, which is Knockdown and Totem. Obviously, we have skipped Black Ops 4, and I don't think we've done Cold War because all the perks kind of changed. We've gone with the original ones, so obviously World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, because obviously, in my opinion at least, they are the best games.
Yeah, I concur with that. We could talk about the Black Ops Cold War perks at the end. Zeon hasn't really experienced that much, and I'd be the only one who input that, so we're gonna probably wait until a later episode to talk about that. But for right now, we're just gonna talk about World at War through Black Ops 3, and I am stuttering. I'm tired.
But it's the point of an unscripted thing.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so Tombstone. Yay or nay?
Obviously, yeah, I'll put Tombstone at the bottom of my list as well. Quite frankly, obviously, it does have its very minor uses in the very minor situations, but other than those very few situations, it's just filling up a slot that could be filled with something better.
Yeah, I feel the same about it. I'll also like to add that it almost encourages you to die. So, Matt, here, let me set the scene for you. It's round 35, you suck at zombies, and this is as far as you can get, so you're really pissed when you do go down, and you want to keep your jug, your mule kick, and let's just say you have double tap, just to make it simple. Well, you want to keep those, and so you just off yourself with about a 45 to the forehead. Well, what if your teammates can't survive after that? What if they revived you and they could have survived, but because you were a pussy and killed yourself, now your team is just lost, and so you get to round 35, it's your new record, woohoo, and you lost, and it's over because of that. Tombstone just encourages you to kill yourself, and I view it as an almost useless perk that could have. I just realized I spelled it two different ways. You could fill it with literally anything else, and it would be more useful. Fill it with freaking Deadshot for all I care, or even Quick Revive, really.
Yeah. If you obviously have a look at it costs 2,000 points to buy. Obviously, it's a bit expensive for kind of price for use. Whereas something like Juggernaut, where it's 2,500 points, and obviously we all know how useful that is. But with Tombstone, it's more of a thing for a failsafe. And obviously, if I were to use Tombstone, I wouldn't be playing with you.
Yeah. I think that if you use Tombstone, it would almost be if you're a noob and don't really know how the game goes, and so you're like, and so you're just more playing a lot more cautious, a lot more conservative than someone who's been playing the game for a long time would. And and so you see Tombstone, they're like, oh, okay, this looks like a second chance. It saves me money in the end. It's an investment. Yeah, you can do that, but you also take away a perk that could have saved your life in the first place. Say Speed Cola.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyways, on to number 13 on the list.
Yes, number 13 or number 2, because I wrote it backwards.
Yes, well, I've kind of gotten used to that myself.
Yeah. Who's who? Yeah, introduce and diarize. We all know how it is on the elevator. And, well, it has the same effect almost as Tombstone, except you're going to revive yourself and keep your perks and weapons and whatnot instead of offing yourself in the middle of the round. Oh, by the way, Tombstone was introduced on the Green Run transit. I just thought I should mention that.
Yeah, it was introduced in Black Ops 2 in the original maps.
Yeah. So who was introduced alongside that almost in the first DLC, I think.
Black Ops 2, yes.
Yes, it was Black Ops 2. It was on Diarize, and it has the same effect essentially. It's just a failsafe for if you want to keep your perks, but the difference is that you respawn in the same round. Black and white, you have a 1911, you have a starting pistol, and no other perks, and you have to revive yourself. If you go down in this mode, though, you can be revived normally, I believe.
Yeah, well, with Who's Who myself, I never really got too much. I mean, I used it a couple times, just to test it in the beginning, but I really didn't like Diarize, so I didn't play that too much. But for Who's Who, it can be taken in multiple ways. One way it can be taken as obviously if you were to have a quick fuck up in an early round and you have Who's Who, you quickly get yourself back up. But if you're in later rounds, you don't really have much of a chance unless you're like a zombies veteran and you're like perfect at the game and you can somehow train the zombies around and get to yourself quickly before the timer runs out.
Yeah, if you die, say at the crafting table right below the main spawn, and you can somehow jump all the way down, go down through A94, like come back up and catch the elevator at the right point, and then jump across, and go up to the roof, and then jump across from the transmission tower back to where you are. That would be literally you'd have like seconds to spare, but that'd be the only way I can see you being able to revive yourself. Let's say around anything above 15 or 20.
Yeah,
just playing solo.
Due to Diarize, obviously, it's a vertical map, and the way to move around, obviously you can do it the parkour way, but majority of the time it's luck-based to do with elevators and stuff like that. So even though you might start training somebody somewhere and go up somewhere, you might not get back down. So
yeah.
If it was used and utilized on a more horizontal map, I should say, something like Origins.
Yeah, if it was on Origins, I could see it actually being a halfway decent perk. Because then you could have someone easily come in and just take the train away from you and just, oh, okay, here's a morphine syringe, back up, by myself, I'm awesome.
Train them around because there's more space to run, whereas with a vertical map such as Diarize, it's a bit hard to pick and choose where you take the zombies to, because obviously where you die is... all areas in Diarize are very secluded areas. There's lots of dead ends, and if you don't know the map very well, you're going to be fucked from the get-go. So,
yeah. And move on to the next one. Also, I don't think Who's Who is in any other map besides Diarize. If it's not, I completely blanked out and just erased from my memory. I never used it.
But yeah, for perk number 12 or 3, if you put it backwards, like Nova.
Hello.
That would be Vultured.
Yeah, you're starting to cut out a little bit.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. So like you said, it'd be Vultured would be the next perk. Introduced during what was that? It introduced and buried in the church. It was a cool perk, honestly. For the first couple times I used it, that was a must-have when I first started playing the map. But as I got used to the map and understood more of the mechanics and the way I can run, where I could run, and just I could exploit different parts of it, I stopped using Vultured almost altogether because it's just like the other ones. It became just another perk that I could another slot that I could use more wisely.
And considering how much it costed, it wasn't really worth it. Obviously it had its multiple purposes. Obviously you could pick up bullets. I'm pretty sure you could get a few points here and there.
Yeah, and then the stink as well. The camouflage.
Yeah, it had obviously you could hide in that, which could be used in pretty good instances, such as fuel packer punching and a horde come down and you, got in the mist quickly and got your gun out and then quickly unloaded on all of the zombies and getting your way out. But it also had, its most used quality was obviously being able to see all of the perks on the map. You could see pack a punch, all sort of stuff like that. That is pretty useful.
The mystery box as well.
Yeah, well, it become useless when you've played the map a few times because you already know where everything is.
Yeah,
everything just comes like.
Yeah, honestly, that was my biggest gripe about the perk. It was like, no matter what you did, it was just constant icons on the screen. It was overwhelming and just so distracting to look at while you're playing the game, because like they would sometimes hide zombies behind them, like next to the mansion, and then you were looking and like there's a zombie horde behind you. Sometimes Juggernaut would literally cover up half the zombie horde, so you just started shooting blindly and that way hoping you would kill the zombies before they get to you, as like witches are swirling around you or something like that. It was just so annoying.
Yeah, well, honestly, for the price it cost, was it 4,000 or 4,500? It's been so long.
I think it was like, I don't know. I'll look it up.
I think it was 4,500. But frankly, after I used it once or twice, I never used it again because it was handy in the beginning when you didn't know the map very well.
3,000.
Still a bit too much.
Yeah.
At the same time, like obviously, well, if you look at Cold War, I do know in Cold War, there's those things where you can buy max ammos and that. Like, there's no point of even having to, like, you could spend that money on a max ammo instead of having to pick up little bullets, or you're spending 3,000 points on a use of getting points. So it kind of outweighs itself because I'm pretty sure it's not going to give you like 3,000 points by the end of the round. And then obviously you have the mist. There's no point having the mist, especially in Black Ops 3 if it was in there, because you have Now You See Me, I think it was called.
Yeah, no, hidden in plain sight. Now you see me as the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
Now you see me as all the zombies come towards you. Hidden in plain
Oh.
sight is you're invisible to all the zombies.
So long for me to play these games.
Yeah.
I need to work has obviously been pretty demanding on me.
Oh yeah, I understand that. I haven't slept in like 2 weeks. It feels like either.
All right, so for perk number 11 on the list, we've actually had our first disagreement. Would you like to
Yay!
go?
All right, I had Deadshot Daiquiri.
And I had
Yeah, he had Mule Kick. Deadshot Daiquiri introduced during what map was that? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Well, George A. Romero map essentially in northern Russia with all the legendary action heroes. Like Danny Trejo and whoever the other people are. I don't care about Danny Trejo.
It's all you remember.
Yeah.
I have to disagree with you when it comes to Deadshot because you look at something like Black Ops 3. If you were to get Deadshot and get the Dracon and Pack-a-Punch it, you're fucking invincible.
Okay, yeah, well maybe that, but like I had very good aim as it is, and Deadshot tends to always fuck me up. Like I would aim for the head, and then I would get Deadshot, and I'd be shooting 3 feet above their head and just missing half my shots and using double the ammo to kill the same zombie. I'm like, no, this is just useless at this point.
That's recoil on the gun, obviously, but with me, what I do, especially because I only tend to use Deadshot when it comes to snipers and stuff like that, so I don't hold the scope down and then wait a bit and shoot. I kind of tap the aim button and then tap the shoot button almost instantaneously, so it's bang, bang, bang.
Quick scope.
Yeah, basically, it's not only, especially with the Dracon itself, when you're doing training and stuff like that, if you miss the zombie right ahead of you, you're going to hit the one behind you.
Are you saying Dracon is Dragonov? Oh yeah, Black Ops 3 was Dracon. Yeah, right. I've seen I've seen Dragonov from Black Ops 1.
Well, Deadshot obviously was introduced in Call of the Dead, which was Black Ops.
Call of the Dead, that's it. Yeah, Call of the Dead. That's the map with Danny Trejo and George A. Romero.
But no, for me, I will kick fairly low on the list because, yes, it can be handy. But then you look at like Black Ops 3 again, for example. Double Pack-a-Punching takes out the need for a third gun. It's the third gun you get is when you go down, you lose that third gun. If they were to implement something, whereas if you got Mule Kick again and you got that third gun back, I probably would have placed this perk higher on the list. But for 4,000 points, you might as well spend that double packing your gun, and in my opinion, it's just not worth the 4,000 points, especially for the risk, because if you're going to go down, it might be the only gun you have bullets with. You get back up if you're on solo and you have quick revive, or if your teammate gets you up, and then you just have nothing. You need to run around, you need to buy your perks again, you need to spin the box again, get another gun, because the gun that you had with bullets in it is gone. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you there. I think Mule Kick is a little bit more useful than the way you described it. I like to run around with a primary weapon, say like maybe the Gorgon, or not the Gorgon, like the ICR. Just a gun that I can know will put the zombies down really fast, and then I have a crowd control weapon, like I was going to say, the Gorgon, or the Dingo, or the BRM, or even like the HK or PK, or, any light machine gun that I can just quickly mow through the zombies with. And then I have a shotgun as my third gun, or even a submachine gun that is just like, if I'm running around and I just don't have time to deal with getting headshots or whatever, just bah, 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 just melts through them, and it has plenty of ammo, and that's typically what I use Mule Kick for. It is like I have my 2 guns, right? Like I said, the first 2, and then I have the third crowd control, or the third just oh shit gun, just get me the fuck out of here gun.
With Mule Kick, obviously, if you need to quickly go to your as you call it, oh shit gun, you kind of like, if you're unlucky, you'll need to click the button to change your weapon. Go, I want this one, press another button and go back to it. Not only that, but Mule Kick I tend to find is more handy when you're doing like camping. So if you were to camp in Toten upstairs, or if you were to camp on the catwalk in Doris, or the Giant, as most people would know it now, that's kind of the stuff that you want a third gun for, because you can't run around. You kind of just need ammo, and if you can't reload, you just switch to your next gun. But other than that, for training and that, I don't really find a need for it.
Yeah, I could see that on like the remastered version of Doris when it was released for Black Ops 1, I would always sit up on top of the catwalk. We had a really good strategy where One of our friends would run down next to the box, like to the spawn or the power area. They would just run around there. I would set up with an L96 or a Dragonov, and then just pick off zombies from them from the train whenever I could. Someone else would be guarding the catwalk for me, and then the fourth person would be running around the map, just holding the zombies off from the person running the train, and then they would coordinate when they would get together, and then they would just completely annihilate, and the person would run off again, and they would start training again, and I would just pick the zombies off with the sniper. That's what we did. And the sniper would always be my third gun. So if I did lose it, if I did go down and lose something, it would always be the least valuable gun. Sure, I could get like 7 zombies with one shot with it, because I would always shoot whenever all of the zombies were coming towards me, and it'd just be a massive crowd of them. It was a fucking 338 La Puas through their chest. But like he said, I would always have an LMG, and then maybe even 2 LMGs, because I'm on top of the catwalk, and if I do run out of ammo, I'm just gonna sit up here and camp and wait until we get a max ammo.
But your strategy also depends on if you have a dependable team. If you have if you're playing with randoms and you get some people that are they're running away or team up, or you have somebody who's new to the game, you can't expect them to follow your commands, or to coordinate together. Whereas if you were playing with friends and you could communicate, yes, you could coordinate tactics, attacks, stuff like that. But
yeah,
quite frankly,
that's why when I do play online, I have the oh shit gun to the sniper rifle.
Well, I don't really play online very often unless it's with friends.
Yeah, because you have no friends.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's also because I like being able to talk to people online that aren't randoms, a coordinated attack.
All right, let's move on to another one, because we're already at 20 minutes almost. Double tap 1, we agree on that. It is the 5th worst perk.
But I mean, in a way, I have to defend it in one way. Like in the earlier rounds, yeah, it's all right if you have like an LMG or something with plenty of ammo, but you're using twice as much ammo.
And well, it's 33%. The game is very misleading. It only increases your fire by 33% and your recoil by the same amount.
Yeah, it's kind of just wasting your ammo in the early rounds, and when you get to the late rounds, it just kind of drops off and it doesn't really make a difference. At a point, you're going to need something like
a ray gun, a wonder
wall. Just any sort of wonder weapon basically to hold your own. Especially when I was playing, I think Double Tap 1, that was released in Vultured, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Just like all the other perks. Like all 4 of the prime perks were released with Vultured.
Yeah, the original 4 were released in Vultured. In Vultured, obviously you had, pretty sure you got the ray gun in there. Did you end up getting the Wonder Waff in that one too?
No. That was exclusive. That was on Sheena Numa and Darius.
Call of the Dead, it was also on when you killed George Romero.
You are fake news. Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original. I'm talking about World of War, though.
Obviously, when you have... It can be useful in certain ways, but you kind of can't turn it on and off. So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
All right, and I'll agree with the same thing, but also I will say it is very useful if you do have if you do play primarily the shotgun or like I said before, sniper rifle. Even if it doesn't increase the damage, it's still useful to have that. Increased fire rate if you are running around with a trench gun, or if somehow using a PTRS 41 as your primary.
So on to the next one. We agreed on this one too. PhD.
Yep, it's a very robust perk. I love it, but it's very limited in its application.
It doesn't really have any downfalls in my opinion at all. It's just if you want to use the most primary thing of it.
Like, its location when it was introduced on Ascension was the best, honestly. They could not have chosen a better spot to put it in any map ever than where actually, yeah, they could have like on Call of the Dead, they could have swapped Deadshot, Daiquiri, and PhD, and I think that would have been even epic because you get PhD and dolphin off of the fucking lighthouse.
So long, suckers!
That would have been awesome,
yeah.
But like where it was in Ascension was prime, because you had just that was the best camping spot, and then you just run around, you get it, very easy to defend from the monkeys, and I was gonna say then just use a ray gun to shoot your feet, or even a Law or China Lake just shoot your feet if you're trapped in a corner and just free yourself basically.
Well, it was very overpowered, obviously. In Black Ops 2, they did implement the perma perks. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I remember them.
Perma perk, and if you were to get like the M1911, pack a punch it to the Mustang and Sally, and then have the perma perk PhD, you're pretty much invincible.
As long as you have, as long as you don't expend all 62 of your shots, you would be a-okay.
Yeah, if you were to train them up, get them in an area, and then just unload on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could kill anything with a Mustang and Sally in like it's just a small little volley, and then if you have PhD and you're just invincible at that point because you hit corners. Okay, you're free of it.
One shot doesn't kill them, the second shot fucking well. Simple as that.
And you have two guns, so you just have to pull the trigger once, like each trigger, left and right.
You made it to the end of the video? That's awesome! Part 2 will release in 1 week, so until then, subscribe, leave a like and comment. Also, in the description will be a link to our brand new Discord server. Check it out! Until then, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.